Welcome, everyone. Another episode of the Plastic Cards Podcast, show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name's Fonzie. I am joined by my co-host, indie game dev extraordinaire, thought to the stars, Gavin Jones. Gavin, how are you? I try and just pull it out of my ass.
That was
last
pretty
minute.
good. Thought to the stars.
You know what? Yeah.
I feel like, like if you're in California, like there's a
You got some
solid
competition.
population of thoughts to the stars.
It's all thoughts over there, so you got to step your game up if you're going over there.
Yes, that's a great. That's why I'm Pacific Northwest thought.
Right. Yeah.
What all stars do we got? Bill Gates, Macklemore.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's about
If
it.
we have a Mount Rushmore, then yeah, they're on there for sure. Kyle MacLachlan, he's from Yakima. Kyle MacLachlan, he's from Yakima. He's from he's been in a bunch of movies, but he's in that show. It's that super weird show where they're in the Northwest. They eat cherry pie or like apple pie. There's like these murders. Twin Peaks.
Oh,
He's the guy from Twin Peaks,
okay.
but he's from Yakima.
Huh?
I think that's the only like legit Yakima resident that has done anything.
There are a few, but they're always like people that I could give two shits about. Like for an example of like, it's not this guy, but like an example of like Post Malone, where it's just like, do we want to be claiming that guy?
Is he from the Northwest?
No, I don't remember where but there have been a few celebrity examples where I see where it's people that I could just give two shits about, and I'm like, all right, well, it's not gonna be my flex. Not doing that one.
Or like their brother wrote for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like something like that's just
That'd be pretty.
that's
I'd be
better
proud of
than
that
anything
one.
I've ever done. So yeah, it
It's
actually
the rap that people, 20 years later, probably people still know.
yeah. How was your weekend?
It was weird.
It was a weird one.
I mean, we had a fun day playing Stranglehold.
We should talk about
until
Stranglehold
it got
too.
hella repetitive, but
It did, yeah. I think those first couple episodes were just where they were awesome. They're on point.
yes,
That's when they realized like this is what we're doing. They're just going full force, and they had to kind of figure out what else to do
yeah.
with that game.
Well, it's definitely weird how like I remember the demo vividly, and the first 30 minutes of that game is the demo.
Yeah.
And then after that, it gets super video gamey in a bad way.
Yeah, and we should maybe remind people. So the game Stranglehold,
Yes.
it's from 2006, 2007. I think we looked it up.
2007.
Yeah, and it's this slow motion shooter type game that was based on these movies with is it Chow Yun Fat? I want to say,
No.
or is John Woo the director?
I want to say, and if I'm wrong, I feel like that makes me racist, but I want to say he's the director / main character.
Gotcha. Okay,
But I could be incorrect.
But it is hard boiled. That's the series
Hard-boiled,
of,
yes. That is which aged really fucking well. It's not as crazy as the game. Like, the game is like literally hundreds of guys pouring out of every corner coming at you. But it's honestly, like, Hard-boiled's just a good movie.
I need to actually watch it.
Yeah.
I feel like, did they include the movie in the game at some point, or
I could have seen that being a thing because back when like the Blu-ray first came out, people didn't know what to do with all the space.
yeah, like put a movie on there.
Right. And now don't we finally have a video game coming out on multiple discs?
Oh God, what is that?
Is that Final Fantasy VII?
I think so, but I don't know if that's a product, just how they're developing it. But
Yeah.
I think you're right.
That's so strange because those Blu-ray discs really are huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when I played The Darkness, they didn't know what to do with all that space, so they literally put the entirety of To Kill a Mockingbird on there.
It's a movie that just plays, right?
Yes.
Like it's in the background, or
and there's like full episodes of cartoons, but To Kill a Mockingbird was cool because there's a scene where you sit on a couch with your girlfriend and you just cuddle until she falls asleep.
Yeah, I remember that.
And like you could seriously watch the whole movie.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
such a good game.
I would like to see them kind of revisit that. And
Right. Well, I don't know. Having played 2, I've forgotten the ending of 2, but I want to say there's nowhere to go.
maybe a reboot, because it's been a while
Right.
to like just carry on from it.
It'd be nice if more people played the first one, because the first one was very not gamey. Like the fact that if you wanted to navigate, like you were given like street addresses, and so you'd have to like look at the street signs
Whoa.
and find out where to go. And yeah, it just felt very not video gamey.
That was one thing. It ended up being just like a rumor, but with Red Dead 2 coming out, like the lead up to it, people were saying online, like, oh, if you can actually toggle something where if you don't want to have your map, you can just have NPCs they'll just say like, hey, it's actually over there, like the next town.
Oh,
and you have
that'd
to
be
just
so
navigate.
cool.
It would be cool. Also, I think in reality it would suck because
Right.
you'd really have to like pay attention and slow down. But I like the realism there. But it ended up not happening that way.
I think it'd work if the world wasn't that fucking big.
Sure.
Because
Yeah, it's massive.
Because I know Outer Wilds, like eventually I got everything memorized, but it's realistically not that big, and it's also not samey.
Gotcha.
Whereas when you're in Red Dead, a lot of that's like, I mean, I could walk in the forest right now and get lost. 30 minutes, I'd never see me again. So Earth is very samey, so I could see that being a problem.
I gotcha. But yeah, we played that for a good couple hours, and it's pretty cool. It does get repetitive and annoying, but it's just a product of games from that era, I think, like where they're trying to like shove stuff in there to pad it and to make it longer. But
it does suck though, because it's coming at it from today's perspective. It feels like it had a low budget, but it fucking didn't.
I'm sure it didn't, but you're right.
Like that game they put a lot of money behind it. But if they just put in some more guns or changed up the gameplay was so one note.
Yeah.
But it was a great note, but it was grinding.
Yeah, for sure. And there's I wish there was more attention on the destructibility, on the just the gunplay, like the movement, the way your character is just easily just like transitioning to stuff. Sometimes in a weird, funny way, like the way they'll like naturally jump off of stuff, but it's just trying to keep you moving the whole time.
Yeah, and it did do a great job of keeping you moving. You had to be dodging bullets. You were always like, you did feel like an agile gun ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. I think those were some of my favorites though, when the physics did act in weird ways that made you look like a badass. Like when the camera would whip around real weird, or like diving over a guy and seeing their eyes go.
Yeah.
So the expressions were good. I was even impressed by the normal mapping on his forehead wrinkles.
I did mention that, but yeah, it's like they spent I don't know how much money just on rendering those wrinkles.
You don't even see that much today. Like that was impressive. That was cool.
Yep.
Aside from in like the weird way they did it in LA Noire, which
I haven't played it, but I know the character models are really super high def.
Super creepy. Just some of the creepiest haunt you in your dreams. Because I think
Valley.
how they did it is I think they had technology that would somewhat change the facial model, but I feel like they were playing a video of someone's face over it.
Oh, interesting.
So at least that's what it looks like to me. So you have a model that's mostly moving, but you have a more detailed thing. So together it looks good, but also fucking strange.
You have like a very narrow window to make that work with people with like rendering faces. And
Right.
stuff
Yeah.
before.
The uncanny valley is, which is weird because we're getting to a lot of games that are kind of conquering the uncanny valley with like some of the tech. I feel like Mortal Kombat, or more specifically Injustice, really wrecked uncanny valley and had that facial movement be better. But
I know with Mortal Kombat, and it's one of the fact that they released some news on the movie that they're gonna actually go forward with. I think they nailed it with the last game, how it is super high def as far as just like the fidelity in the faces, but it works with them because they're dealing with like really horrible gore animations. So when they do this movie, I feel almost weird, like how are they going to make that work when they have to pull off these fatalities, but using actual people? The benefit was in the game having these CG models.
It might be really uncomfortable because that's part of the reason I can't watch horror movies is the gore does get to me.
Yeah, sure.
So I haven't watched a Saw since 3 when they did that opening scene where he's got to rip a chain through his Achilles tendon. I was like, nope, it's fucking out.
No,
this
there's like
done.
There's an artistic way, and I really dig that whatever that artistic way is of like an actual style for how you present something like gore and not just gratuitous. But a lot of times, with that series especially, it was just no holds barred.
Which is crazy because the original didn't really have fatalities. Like maybe it had
with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I don't really remember much. Like
you had them, but it was of course no one could figure out how to do them because that was back in the 90s.
It was PG-13.
Yeah,
it may have even honestly been PG.
Okay. I was thinking of the game. You're talking about the movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. But the movie was still fucking good because it has that good story that these games have.
Yeah, and it's campy, and they seem to make it work. I don't know if maybe we need a rated R Mortal Kombat, but we'll break down that actual story when we get to it. But
hopefully it's good.
Yeah, we'll see. So,
It does. So something that blows my mind is that we got a full reboot of Mortal Kombat before we got a Halo movie or like a Gears movie, like a full-fledged theater release, because those are stuff I honestly would have rather have seen.
Well, those have been kicking around. I feel like they end up being locked in that development hell where it's just all these different companies involved who own the rights, and they just never pull the trigger or agree on what to do. Mm-hmm. But I know I've always heard about a Halo project and a Gears thing. But I also, lately, I tend to like lean on the side of a lot of these games are so cinematic. I don't know if we need them as movies. You spend hours in that world. It's like they're going to flesh it out more than a movie would.
I think it just sort of depends on what you can do with the story, and I think Gears would work. Gears would also just be cool because you literally don't have like Joe DiMaggio.
No, is that a baseball player?
I know it's DiMaggio.
Yeah, he's a voice actor, and he's from
Bender and whatnot.
Yeah, Adventure Time, and
like when he's at his buffest. Like, he could just walk in and play that. That being said, what's his name from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, Dave Bautista.
Oh.
Yeah, that would be dope. I think either he was trying to get it or another director was like, hey, get this guy to be... Yeah. It might have been him. Like, he was actually pining to get that. But yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Yep. But, we played that.
You could have the guy that played Punisher play Dom.
Oh, yep. The newer Punisher. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be fucking sweet.
I think I would like them to maybe with that game in particular to transition into a movie because I don't care so much about the game going on the fifth one now. I just don't really care about it. Right. So, but that's just me personally. So I would like them to go into a movie route.
I feel like a lot of people are like that, and it was sort of weird with. I feel like Gears 3 didn't have the most satisfying ending in the world. It had just as many questions left open as it answered.
I do remember that. Yeah, there's like a queen. Lady who was in control of the monsters, and she's just kind of, I don't remember what happened with her, but she does something, she leaves.
I think you did kill her.
Did you? Okay.
So they made her out. I feel like they didn't really introduce her as the big bad until 3, which is not a great way of doing it.
Yeah, she was like secretly there the whole time. Yeah. Although she was the voice in the background always, right?
She was, but you never knew what any of that meant.
Right.
So it didn't have context.
And she's human.
Yeah, and clearly it all didn't matter. Because
they just come back.
Yeah, they're still there. So,
But yeah, we played some games. We did play Outer Wilds, so I think we both kind of got to the point where we were finished with it. At least you more so than me as far as like completing the actual game.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think we'll talk about it. We'll just cut it out of the actual podcast. We'll go into like spoilers on it for a bit, and then we'll jump back in. Alrighty. Well, we got some news, Gavin.
So, Gamer Girl Bathwater.
I did have that pulled up, but
I was wondering if that was going to come up.
I don't know. It was one of those things where it was kind of not a publicity stunt, but like it's just something that this YouTuber or streamer decided to do seemed, interesting. I didn't really carry the way. It's like, okay, she's selling her bathwater. I never took it seriously, basically.
Right. Yeah.
But of course, the internet kind of took.
Now, how many baths is she having to take to do this? Is she even actually taking baths, or is she?
Yeah, the economics kind of like make it more of a complicated thing. I did read something. It was a quick thing. I'm not sure who actually researched it, but whoever actually purchased some of the bath water had it tested for actual like human DNA evidence or like remains, anything that was in there, and there wasn't. It was just water. And that she was facing a class action lawsuit. Even as I say that, I'm not sure if that's legit, but I was reading that just on Twitter, just like quickly. But
the whole thing does feel like fake news.
It's a bit fake news. It's also like if you can make money doing that, good on you. Do it.
Right.
If you can sell whatever. I mean, people sell even weirder stuff online as far as like cam girls and things like that. You can sell super weird stuff, and creepy dudes will buy it. And if you can make money, just do your thing, boo. Like
I sell my underwear all the time. It sucks because the underwear itself is more expensive, and you count in the postage.
Right.
But
that's a good way to just get rid of clothes out of your house. Just sell it.
That
I don't want to have to fold things.
That was a neat thing when I was in Japan. I don't know if it's still big. It probably isn't anymore. But there was like a second-hand store that was like exclusively like Americans' clothes.
Really?
And it was a huge second-hand store. That being said, like a lot of boutique shops in Japan were fucking huge, which is random.
Gotcha.
But it was huge.
Like American brands or
just like used clothes from Americans.
Okay.
Which like I wouldn't have thought was a thing. I don't know if it's a huge thing, but that store was very popular.
Gotcha.
And I actually ended up buying something which I thought was hilarious. That's where I got my Ghostbuster belt buckle from.
Ooh, nice.
That I probably don't have anymore.
You gotta dig that up. But in addition to the gamer bathwater, right after we recorded or a day after that, they announced the Nintendo Switch Lite. So I pulled up some of the details on that.
Feels like more than a week ago, but it really wasn't, was it?
Yeah, no, it was Tuesday, Wednesday last week. So I pulled up an article from Kotaku. The Nintendo Switch Lite will be released on September 20th. This is from Brian Ashcraft. The Nintendo Switch Lite is a smaller handheld, only portable that will be released this fall. It is being described as a Nintendo Switch for those who just want to play on the go. The Lite will come in 3 colors, yellow, gray, and turquoise. Priced at $199, the Switch is cheaper than the standard issue Switch. Oh, sorry, the Switch Lite is cheaper than the standard issue Switch, which goes for $299. It's also a slightly smaller piece of hardware compared to the regular Switch, which measures 4 inches high, 9.4 inches long. The Switch Lite is 3.6 inches high and 8.2 inches long. The Lite, however, does have a longer battery life and a D-pad instead of the directional buttons. Oh. And it's no bundle has been announced, but keep in mind that Link's Awakening also comes out on September 20th. How do you feel about that little Switch Lite?
I think it's cool. It's got some features that are like the fact that it can connect to Wii control or Switch controllers is sort of strange, but also at the same time not. Like it's got some, the fact that it's got a longer battery life is sort of strange, but also not, especially when this is a dedicated handheld. It's just got some sort of strange features. My biggest concern is the comfort. That doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah, have they changed much about how? Because really, you can imagine when you have your Joy-Cons on there, it feels like it's the same as holding a normal Switch with the Joy-Cons locked in.
Right. But it's going to be, your hands are going to be even more closer, so you're going to be cramping. I am surprised at how small it is. That looked like, you see that picture next to a guy's hand. Yeah. So it's probably only going to be like a little bit bigger than my hand. Like that's a portable.
Yes, I know it is small. A good, maybe 30%, 10%, 20, somewhere on there as far as like the change in size. Yeah. It is smaller.
They didn't get rid of that bevel though. You still got a lot of space around that screen.
It's loud and clear this time. I was hoping they could kind of change that up, and maybe in the future as they reiterate further down. But I like the idea of this but I'm just not going to buy this go around. But I like the idea of a cheaper Switch you can leave in your backpack all the time.
Well, we just don't need it. Is the thing,
right? Because it's really not much of an upgrade or downgrade from the regular Switch. Just get that. It is $100 cheaper though, so there is cool. That. Yeah.
So it's how much is it?
So it's $199 compared to $299 for the actual Switch.
So if your kid doesn't have a Switch, $200 is not bad.
No, it can't be docked and it can't connect to a TV,
which is too bad.
It is too bad, but also.
But you're watching sports on that TV anyway, right. So little Buster can play. I don't know who's naming their kid Buster, but. Go play their Pokemans in the other room. So I don't know. It's cool.
What does this do or change for like say the 3DS or the mobile? Like the actual handhelds that they were kind of.
Well, according to Nintendo, the 3DS will still be supported and alive and well.
Gotcha.
And I don't know why they keep saying this. They should just stop.
Right.
The fact that Pokemon is getting a Switch release
with no 3DS actual focus and. There's Pokemon Go now, and so yeah.
What's the last 3DS game someone gave a shit about?
I don't know. I'm sure there are Japanese released 3DS games or other kind of obscure ones or sports titles, but I don't know if it's really anything holding on. I just wonder, if this is kind of sealing the deal or showing them, with this, I feel like they just don't have to support 3DS or create another 3DS. This is basically that, just going that route.
I did think it was interesting in the announcement trailer how they said you can only play games that support handheld mode, and that hadn't even crossed my brain that not all games do.
Gotcha.
I hadn't considered it for two. Yeah.
As far as like having not being able to switch or turn the controllers over
or just pull them out.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Gotcha.
So like you're playing 1-2 switch for fuck off any reason, which they support because you can play with Switch controllers.
Oh sure. So you just link them and then you do that.
Yeah, but it has no kickstand for some fucking reason.
Well.
So.
You have your other little brother holding the actual Switch Lite while your friends play.
Right. I did like how they showed it off in the trailer, though, was a bunch of kids all skateboard out to the park, and some of them are playing on their Switch, and some of them are playing on the Switch Lite. Yeah. Because realistically, that's kind of how it's going to work.
Yeah, you're going to have a smorgasbord of different consoles and stuff.
And this is not threatening the Switch in in the least.
Nope.
And
So,
go ahead.
well, just the rumors of the Switch Lite were maybe like for the last 6 months since we've been recording, we've been kind of covering on the fact that somebody either made a case or found a weird, image of it. So does that give more life to the Switch Pro rumors that were also entangled with the Switch Lite rumors?
So the last report I heard is they're now putting upgraded components. They're going to be starting putting upgraded components into new Switches they're making. So these rumors of an upgraded Switch may just be the regular Switch, which is kind of annoying.
So would it be actually improvements in performance or like battery life, but just slight ones and not a full like revamp or anything like that?
I imagine slight ones, or who knows, like hopefully they upgrade that battery life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just feels weird knowing that now I have the old Switch.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's still maybe the more superior Switch compared to this one.
Right. Yeah.
Switch Lite. But I wouldn't mind. I want to see what their plans are. But a Switch Pro that, it just stays docked. Because a lot of the games I did like just playing docked. Zelda Breath of the Wild I played docked. So I wouldn't mind something, especially as they get more and more of these PC-focused ports. Like they had Mortal Kombat. They're getting Wolfenstein. The new Doom, I want to say, is still on Switch.
Yeah.
So they're getting these PC ports. So maybe that shows that they are looking for a beefier version of what they offer, because the Switch is only going to continue to have problems running these games as you go forward.
I think one of the questions, though, is how is this going to limit the way they design these games now? Because you look at Mario Galaxy, and I had to play with
nunchucks
like this because I needed to do specific moves. If you want to throw them both to the side and spin the hat around you, or you want, you throw it out and you want to angle it at somebody, that was motion controls exclusive. So I never played it handheld. You can't play this. So how are they going to change things to make it
That's
even,
true.
or what are they going to do?
Yeah, they have to plan or think in mind with all these games that have the waggle or the motion controls, that give it an option to not do that.
Yeah.
Or you just don't play that game. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see how this affects, more people going out and playing. I think one of the things I still like about the Switch is it really is more akin to, like, I don't think kids do LAN parties anymore. I really doubt they do.
Right. I don't think they are either. They're playing online.
Yeah.
But maybe they are in the same room, but I think that's less common. It's more of everyone's just linking and playing online.
Which my buddies did with like League of Legends, but that was super inconvenient lugging around your fucking PC.
Sure. Yeah.
And
people did it. We all lugged something around back then.
And this makes LAN stuff more convenient. I've never tried to see how easy it is. We should honestly try this one of these days with some of these games. How easy is it for me to just walk up and start playing a game with you?
Yeah, if we have the same game, right?
Right. So Smash Bros should work, but what else I don't know what I have that's multiplayer.
Yeah, for me, really, it's Smash. I think I have Mario Kart, but I have just one copy of it.
I wonder I doubt that still has download and play. The 3DS or in the DS Mario Karts used to be able to download onto your friends so they could just play it. But they were stuck with Shy Guy.
Well, hey, that's what you get, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope, though.
Yeah, that was cool. I don't think you could do it with a game that big, though.
Yeah, possibly not. So we got the Switch Lite finally released, or finally announced, rather. Mm-hmm. Now, here was the Mortal Kombat news I had. There was a final actual go-ahead on the production for this Mortal Kombat reboot movie. It's going to be rated R and included fatalities in the movie. So this is from Engadget. Chris Holt writes, filming is set to start soon on the upcoming Mortal Kombat reboot, which is
set soon.
Yeah, it's in pre-production in Australia, under the wing of producer James Wan. Tidbits about what's in store are starting to emerge, such as the casting of the Raid star Joe Taslim as series linchpin Sub-Zero. The latest news on the movie comes from writer Greg Russo, who said the production team is gunning for an R rating. And yes, it'll include proper fatalities. This is a quote, or a tweet rather, from Greg Russo. Since it's already been stated by other members of the team, I'm going to put this one to bed. MK will be rated R, and for the first time ever, fatalities will finally be on the screen. And no, I'm not going to say which ones. You'll just have to wait for the movie and see. We'll find out when the movie hits theaters on March 5th, 2021.
I feel my concern with the fatalities is it's like they either have to be used on characters that are not important, or
Yeah,
it's gonna like deflate. Like
you got one shot.
right, like seeing Ned Stark get beheaded was pretty dramatic.
Right.
But if you tore his head off and then kicked it around like a soccer ball, I'm just sitting here like, well, this was fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So it's either gonna be people that don't matter or it's gonna deflate scenes.
Right. You know what they could do, and that's what I liked in the newer games as well, where they could lean into the brutalities, where you have as you're fighting, you have those X-ray.
Right.
No, brutalities is something different, but those X-ray moves where you would actually zoom in and see somebody's face get like broken inside, and then zoom out. That kind of stuff. Where it was super gory, super over the top, but it didn't kill somehow. It didn't kill the actual character.
These goddamn superhumans. I think the casting is definitely going to be interesting. That guy as Sub-Zero is going to be really cool. It's just some of the main characters. Like, who the fuck are they gonna be? Because you look at how important, like Kano. If they cast that guy right, we're gonna be laughing our ass off at this psychopath.
Yeah, this is he Australian too, right?
Yeah.
Like
so the fact that they're
accent.
shooting in Australia, they better get that fucking accent right. Sony Blade is super important. Johnny Cage has to have us laughing our ass off.
Yep.
And they cast it so right last time. Like that guy was fucking Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
So
maybe just get the original, especially the Kano that I remember from that movie. Was he in the first? Or maybe the second.
He was. He was good.
One.
He was scary.
I feel like for this to succeed too, they have to lean into the campiness and go so that they can also go over the top with it and just get weird.
Sure.
But they have to lean in less of a serious note, but more of just a weird comedy, over the top kind of movie.
I do hope they don't do Ronda Rousey as Sony Blade.
I imagine they have no plans to do that, but
and they did it for the game.
They did.
Her acting was not up to par.
Yeah,
she did an okay job.
Right, but they also had they had somebody else doing the actual like physical acting. She could just do the voice acting,
right.
So maybe that's where it benefited. But yeah, I would not go that route.
I wonder if she did do any of the physical.
She might have done this. Yeah, that's true. She might have done the CGI or like the actual. What am I thinking of? The actual like physical mocap. There we go. Yeah. But so they're looking for March 5th to 2021 for this movie coming out.
2021.
Yeah.
It's not too far away.
Not too far away.
Movies come out so quick now. I feel like when I was a kid, like you hear about something and then 8 years later,
I think they announce them way too early, but they have everything so just planned out with these huge studios. They have to pop it into the right slot to actually succeed, and they have all these other plans in motion. So yeah, everything's like super planned out with these movies.
Yeah.
So we got a Mortal Kombat movie coming up eventually. There's this Apex Legends little tidbit I was going to run by you. So Apex Legends cheaters and spammers are being matched against each other. Whoa, matched against each other.
Not banned. Not wanting to get rid of those players. No.
Right.
Yeah.
So I pulled up this article. So Respawn Entertainment recently shared some information into what it's doing to combat the ever-present problem of cheating in Apex Legends. The new check-in posted to Reddit is light on specifics, but it reveals some big-picture insights into what's being done to check people who are more interested in winning than in how they play the game. Right. Developers are using machine learning to create behavior models that detect and auto-ban cheaters, Respawn wrote. The most interesting and also specific point, though, is that Respawn is matching up detected cheaters and spammers, so they're forced to play against each other in matches. It's a bit like if you can join them, except instead of joining them, you're bonking their heads together like coconuts and locking them in a closet until cheating is completely stamped out. And let's be honest, that's never going to happen.
No.
This is a strategy I can get behind. Interestingly, Respawn has also warned that it's also looking into how people are teaming up for matches, apparently with an eye to catching people trying to get by on the letter of the law rather than its spirit. Even if you're not specifically using a cheat, partying up with cheaters is still cheating.
Right, which people definitely do. I don't know what spammers means in this context.
I'm not sure as well.
It's not like the only thing I can think of in a first-person shooter like spamming is like people used to hate in Call of Duty 4 when you'd use the noob tube and just be firing off shots across the level. And you'd usually get a kill or two. You just spawn in, get a kill or two, throw a couple grenades.
Yeah.
And then, you died, but you took like 2-3 people with you. So it's like, who really cares?
It wouldn't be on like PC how you're loading into a match. Like, or can you load more than once or something? Like, I'm trying to think of spamming in that context.
What it would be. I know some people would just join and then they get points for being in a game.
Gotcha.
I don't know what it would mean, but I mean, it's kind of neat, but again, I'd rather have them banned.
Right. What do you think about just locking them in a cage with themselves and just letting them battle it out?
It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if everyone's on board watching a specific like separate match with cheaters and seeing how they function and cheat with each other.
Well, I think there was a comedian that did that bit about like why are we steroid testing these Olympians?
Oh, sure.
It'd be so much fucking cooler if we roided them out and just see these ultimate humans.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious, and I'd love that idea within a video game too. It's like there's people, there's rules, they're using that. That's fine. This is also a video game. These people have figured out how to bend those rules. Let's see how they play just separate from the actual fundamental game.
Right. I don't know. It's definitely interesting that they're using these algorithms to try and detect them.
It's machine learning.
It honestly can't be that hard because when I'm watching a cheater playing that game, they clearly are tracking people on the other side of a wall.
Gotcha.
Like I don't even think they can hide it that well. I don't.
Yeah.
So it really can't be that.
Are they hoping somebody's not watching their footage? But there's also like a code linked to what they're doing to where that's what shows up. I imagine.
I don't know. I'm not sure they really care. Because I'm sure a lot of these people are stealing credit cards. When they get caught, steal another credit card, buy another copy, create a new account. Like
they're on to the next G2A.
Exactly.
Games.
Exactly.
I was gonna pull up some of the video game releases for the rest of the month.
Tell me that huge list is not the releases coming out this month.
It is just a bunch of text that I did not look through beforehand, so I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's like reading me my life story.
2019 game releases?
TBC, so what? To be actually confirmed.
Yeah, to be confirmed.
Usually I have this already pulled up here, but yep. Yeah, Gavin. Not a whole lot else besides that I had pulled up here. There was some news on the just a tiny bit of news on the Sonic movie. So let me pull that up.
Really didn't expect to hear anything anytime soon.
Yeah. So they announced that they kind of they finally agreed, at least internally, on the new design for Sonic, and that they appreciate like the feedback from fans as much as I don't know how honest they are about that, but I pulled up this article from People.com. They write, the Sonic redesign seems to be going well. Following widespread fan backlash after the release of the trailer, Jeff Fowler, the director of Sonic the Hedgehog, decided to take another look at the fictional character's redesign. The movie was delayed 3 months from its original November opening, and executive producer Tim Miller thinks it's been worth it. Miller spoke to Variety about the change, where he gave insight into this thought process following the poor response to the trailer. There's a quote from him. "Look, I was with fans, and so was Jeff," Miller recalls. "When the shit hit the fan, I went over there and said, the most important thing to do, man, is say, I fucked up. He'd already sent a tweet out an hour before I got there. He's a good man. It was exactly the right way to handle that. The fans have a voice in this too. There's a right way to listen." Miller also said he's seen the redesign and thinks the fans will be pleased. The movie stars Jim Carrey as the villain and comedian Ben Schwartz as the voice of Sonic.
I still love that Ben Schwartz is Sonic.
Yeah, that's still a good idea. So they
could just paint him blue and throw him out there. I think we'd be good.
And he has the John Ralphio hair still. And he's just like pop locking and stuff.
Occasionally you swap him out with a guy from Stranger Things and see people notice.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, I love that guy. So they pushed the movie to Valentine's Day 2020 to kind of deal with the reshoots or redesign. But how do you feel about that?
I mean, it's good that they're making progress.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised that they it's been a little over a month, I want to say. So I'm a little surprised it took that long to be happy with a redesign. Yeah,
or maybe we don't realize like how complicated it is to restructure a character and make it look better, and then plug them into shots and stuff. And although my whole thing when they initially announced this was there's a team of artists that create these characters. So, and they're artists. So they're not creating this character on their own. I feel like this is because of direction, because of a studio saying like, hey, he needs to have eyes.
There's leads out there.
What do you mean by that?
So like you have your artist, but there's like an artist above them.
Gotcha.
that they report back to and they're checking all their stuff with.
See, my fault would fall with them where it's like they allowed this to happen. So how did it, with this redesign, how did they come up? What did they come up with after knowing like this is the initial go ahead with this kind of Sonic character? Like, what would the next one be? Like, they had a team of artists who were like, did no one say or did no one listen to?
I'm sure no one listened.
Right. And so, like, I imagine these artists would say, hey, like, we don't like this, but we're told, okay, we got to make it.
Right.
But maybe we should listen to
After the 30th fucking time of telling your boss,
Right.
this is terrible, there's a point where you're like, you know what? I'm going to lean into this shit here. This is going to be the worst fucking Sonic.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what my boss says to the letter. Human teeth? All right. All right.
These are 4K highly detailed human teeth.
It's the most detailed square on the screen is those teeth.
Yeah. That's my only like I just wonder, how it got to this place in the first place, but
it's people not listening.
Yeah. And then I also wonder is this really going to save the movie, it's just kind of a weird thing to pull off, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. That's live action.
It'll unhurt it, I think.
You're right.
Which is nice. I'm still worried about Jim Carrey because you just don't know what you're gonna get from him. He's getting to be like a comedy version of, is it Nicolas Cage?
Oh sure, yeah.
Because like with him, you're either gonna get garbage or a stunning fucking performance.
Yeah.
And that's getting to be Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
So,
which I guess I respect because it's like either way he's hitting it out of the park in like a horrible cringe way or like this amazing performance like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. Although I do like the fact that Jim Carrey is doing Robotnik. Maybe that to me is the only like saving grace for this movie, just because it could be super weird. That can make or break it. But also the fact that Tim Miller, so he directed Deadpool. And he's an awesome director.
Weirdest credit to throw on this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I trust that he would be a unique mind to tackle this as well. But it's a tough game to make into a movie.
I think there's going to be I think literally every shot of this movie is going to be a meme.
Sure. They already started off that, but like, it seems like they were leaning hard with like the Ghost or the Gangster's Paradise song overlaid with that trailer. They're trying to make it a meme. Yeah, they're going hard in the meme world. But are you much of a Sonic the Hedgehog, like a fan of the series of games?
I only liked it because, like my best friend growing up, he had a Sega. Yeah. And I had a Nintendo. So it's like you want to play what the other kid has. So he'd always want to be like, let's go play Mario or Battletoads because we hated ourselves, and I wanted to go play Sonic. I did have it on my Game Gear, and I didn't even really name drop right there. That was a great console though, because it was legitimate. Was it? Oh, it was fantastic. It had a bajillion colors. Like I remember it was backlit. Yeah. And it could do like, I think it was like 16-bit or something, because it could do so many colors. So I remember playing that thing for like 2+ years, and then the Game Boy Color comes out. I'm like, the fuck is this shit? It's got less colors. It's not backlit. Like these games are just like eating this thing's lunch, and yet the Game Boy Color made $1 bajillion, and the Game Gear just died in a corner. Yeah, it really. I think Sega decided to go with performance. And Nintendo really didn't do that. They just had maybe the better lineup of games. Yes. It was maybe, I want to say a cheaper product, but I don't remember back in the time. But it was definitely cheaper. But if you think about the usage of AA's, it was for sure cheaper, at least on that end, because it was 20 AA's on the Game Gear. I want to say it was at least 6 or something. 6 to 8. Yeah, it was nuts. 6 to 8. I had a that still didn't get you strapped to the back of it that was as big. Like yeah, it was as big as the Game Gear. So holding it, it's like as a kid, it's like that fucking thick, and it's hot. You're just playing with the colors. Yeah, and that thing was huge. Yeah, like it was already huge. Yeah, I wanna hold it in my hands now as an adult. I have it. Do you have one? I just went into my storage unit like today after work, and I looked at it, and that was it. But I literally I saw it today. But is it the size of a Switch? That's how I remember it. But I was a kid, so everything's bigger. It might be. It reminds me of a VHS, another dated reference, but a VHS tape. Like it's like a brick. And it's maybe just a little bit bigger than a VHS tape. Oh, okay, I believe that. Yeah. Which is crazy, too, because the screen wasn't big. No. So it's this huge fucking thing, but the screen's like maybe the size of a Game Boy screen. Yep. But, God, those games they were legitimate console games. When you played a Sonic game on the Game Gear, that was a full-fledged Sonic game.
No, you're right. They did make that decision. Hey, we're going to make this higher end product that can pretty much play Genesis games or style games. But yeah, the battery life suffered because of it. It was super expensive. Yeah. And just Sega in general didn't have the games that Nintendo did at the time. Yeah. So they just always suffered because of that. But I do remember growing up, I think an uncle of mine had it. And it just seemed like such a cool piece of hardware. They made another one after it. Was it the Nomad? They like reiterated again before they finally quit on that whole thing.
I thought they had one where you could actually put, and you should look this up since we have a computer. I thought you could put actual Genesis cartridges into it.
You might be right.
Because I could swear I saw a kid do that and then do the Sonic and Knuckles one where you could stack on top. Yeah. So you got a fucking Game Boy stacked to here.
So yeah, you're talking about it's the Genesis Nomad. So it was a portable version of the Sega Genesis.
Right.
And you could shove in actual Genesis consoles into this thing. But I think this is what killed as far as like the mobile.
Straight up Xbox D-pad on it.
That's pretty cool. So it was released in 1995. Had 6 AA batteries, 2 to 3 hours worth of battery life.
It's up there with the Switch, buddy.
Yeah.
That's just ugly.
But its predecessor was the Game Gear, which was 1991.
You know, the Game Gear does look cool. That looks, and I remember
there's something about that design. You're right.
I remember one of the things I thought was super cool is, do you ever remember the movie Surf Ninjas?
Vaguely. Did they play one in that game too?
Yeah. So in the movie, one of the characters has a Game Gear, and stuff that would happen in the Game Gear would like happen in real life or something akin to that. And so I thought it was so cool. So I had to go out and get that game because I'm like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But that game was so bad. It was.
Was it used to maybe like cross promote the actual game?
I guarantee it. That was.
So I pulled up the Wikipedia. I think that's what they're explaining. So Surf Ninjas was filmed during the summer of 1992. The second half of the film was shot first, and the crew moved to Los Angeles to film the first half. New Line Cinema and Sega of America established a financial relationship in which a Sega Game Gear video game, US and PAL versions, would be developed for the film. Game designers began developing the video game Surf Ninjas when the film was only in its scripting phase, receiving creative input from director Neil Israel. In turn, Sega partially financed the film.
Which is crazy because it felt like the Game Gear was actually integrated pretty well into the movie, but the movie has almost nothing to do with the game. So if you have the creative director giving input and they're like, hey, kids are in a construction yard.
It's ninjas.
Yeah, there's ninjas, and they beat them up, and then they go to a Chinese restaurant, which I think was actually in the movie. So I remember getting there. I'm like, whoa, it's like the movie.
I do remember. I'm seeing the box art, and I do remember it. So it's Leslie Nielsen. He's the bad guy, right? And Rob Schneider is in this too. But it's the...
Oh, God, yes, he was.
One of the kids is from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I want to say.
Was he?
Yeah, he's the pizza guy, and maybe the second one. But
I think last time I looked this movie up for whatever reason, I think the older kid is like a legitimate fucking like karate tournament sort of guy, right. Which sort of like that one guy from New Moon or whatever, the werewolf from Twilight.
Oh, does he actually have some like martial arts?
He's from Washington, by the way. I think he's from like some town around here.
Is he?
Yeah. But he was like a karate champ kid, and that's how he got into Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Whoa,
and launched his career.
Nice.
So similar thing.
So maybe I'll dust off my karate moves and
there you go.
Get back into the film industry. But yeah, the Game Gear. I'll bring it in here one of these days, Gavin. I have it. So we're looking at the Nomad, but.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say I had the other better looking one. God, the Nomad is ugly.
Oh, wait, sorry. We are looking at the Game Gear. So this is the Game Gear. The next one after this.
What I had, though.
Oh, okay.
We had another, like, clearly that's a Game Gear, but that didn't look like what I had. You had another screenshot of
yeah, so the next one is the Nomad. This one fit the actual
that's
cartridges. Okay.
But there was another Game Gear that
they might have reiterated the actual design. Just to kind of get it in there. Whoa, there's a Game Gear with a TV tuner.
I remember that.
That is dope. It's like peak 90s right there. That is awesome. See, that's what I love about the design too, the heavy plastic, the buttons, the colors. It just reminds me of the 90s, the tech.
That is what it looked like. Fuck.
Maybe. I'll bring it in.
My childhood glasses have colored that thing as being a gorgeous brick of gray. I do remember the TV tuner. I remember asking to get it because I'd be playing that thing all day at swim meets.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be so cool if I had a TV. But other kids there had the little teeny portable TVs.
Oh, I remember
garbage.
those. Yeah. Yep. Which could you just get over the air channels with those TV things? Okay.
Which back then that was like a lot of
TV.
good stuff. Yeah.
You could watch Family Matters. You could watch Full House. Yeah. Price is Right.
If you're cool, you had cable. Cable was such a big deal back in the day.
Yeah. It was.
Family Matters. You could watch.
That siren is on our end, by the way.
The ultimate show of America's Home Funniest Videos.
Oh, I love that show.
That was the best show back in the day.
That was YouTube. That's YouTube.
That was YouTube. Yes, that was YouTube before YouTube.
Yeah.
And like you think of like the quality of those clips. Like I feel like if we went back and watched episodes, it'd just be like, this is not the level of nut shots and grandmas slipping into pools that we're used to nowadays.
That's America for me.
That was.
Although when I was the one I'm thinking of specifically is with is it Danny Tanner? He was the Full House guy. He's a comedian.
Bob Saget.
Him narrating and doing the dumb voices.
Which was crazy because he was one of the most dirtiest comics.
Yep. Well, I think whatever broadcast, NBC, whatever, backed up the truck and said, hey, well, just shut your mouth. Make these dumb granny jokes, but don't say any more profanity in your comedy or do any stand up. And we're gonna back up that Brinks truck. And he said, okay. They did that for I don't know how long.
He did that for. I love this clip. He did that for so fucking long.
Yeah.
Like it probably was only like 3 years realistically.
Sure, because they passed it off to other like hosts and stuff. But yeah.
I think I want to say he passed it off, but I may be thinking of. I may be thinking of a different show, but the guy who played Al from Tool Time.
Oh.
But I think I'm thinking of what's that show now with I want to say Harvey Weinstein, but it's not Harvey Weinstein.
But it's another like game show or clip show.
No, it's.
Is it the guy who's bald and has the
Family Feud?
Oh, okay.
But
with
but I may
Harvey.
Be,
oh dang! What, I can't think.
It's
of his
Harvey.
Name. Yeah,
Steve Harvey.
Dang,
there we go.
Yep. Yeah.
Can you imagine like being him and being confused with Harvey Weinstein? Like,
I don't think anybody does that often, but yeah, I'm sure that's.
I think it's almost astounding with like how creepy he is towards women on that show that he not only hasn't had a Me Too moment, but has his own like talk show specifically targeted at women. It's like okay,
he just tells them how he thinks. Yeah, it's that mustache. It's hypnotic.
It is a hypnotic. It's those teeth. It's the teeth.
Yeah, those are some glorious teeth.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Gavin. I think we covered everything that happened during the week.
From Outer Wilds to Harvey Weinstein.
From Steve Harvey to Full House. Yeah,
that's gaming right there.
Yep, that is about it. Gavin, where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Drunk Dells.
Awesome. You can find us at Plastic Heart Pod on Twitter. Find me on Fonzie Pants on Twitter. And we are at youtube.com/Plastic Hearts Podcast. Alrighty, that is it for us this week. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.